Layla Brooks sold flowers outside the Con Plaza Hotel every day after school. 9 years old, invisible to the wealthy guests, just another street kid trying to survive. Nobody knew she spoke Russian. Her mother, gone 2 years now, had been from Moscow, had taught her the language before the accident that took both parents. Now it was just Layla and her grandmother, struggling, barely making rent. So Layla sold flowers and watched and listened. She had seen the hotel's owner exactly twice. Min Jun Kang, young, handsome, cold. The kind of man who looked through people like her as if they did not exist. His security guards spoke Russian sometimes. Thought no one understood. But Layla understood. And at 5:47 on a Tuesday, she heard 3 words that made her blood run cold. When he opens the door. She looked at the black car waiting at the curb, looked at the guards smirking, and knew someone was about to die. 5:30 p.m. 17 minutes before. Min Jun Kang stood in his penthouse office, looking down at the city he had conquered. 34 years old, self-made, ruthless. He had built an empire through calculated risks and zero sentiment. People were tools. Emotions were weaknesses. Trust was a luxury he could not afford. His phone buzzed. Chen, his driver. Car ready, sir. Min Jun checked his watch. 5:31 p.m. Right on schedule. He prided himself on precision. Predictability meant control. Every day, same routine. Leave office at 5:50, enter car at 6, arrive home at 6:15. No deviation, no weakness. His security chief, Victor, appeared in the doorway. Sir, tomorrow's meeting with the Shanghai investors is handled. Min Jun did not look up. Is there anything else? No, sir. Then stop wasting my time. Victor's jaw tightened, but he left without another word. Good. Min Jun had no patience for incompetence, or feelings, or anything that interfered with efficiency. He gathered his briefcase. 17 minutes until departure. Outside on the street corner, life operated at a different frequency. Layla held up a flower to a passing businessman. Fresh roses, sir? Only $3. The man did not even slow down. She had been there since 3:30. Sold 4 flowers. $12. Enough for dinner. Not enough for the electric bill her grandmother was worried about. Her feet hurt. Her stomach growled. But she smiled at the next passerby. Beautiful roses, ma'am. Ignored. She was used to it. 9 years old, black, and poor. She might as well be invisible. But invisible meant people did not watch what they said around her. Invisible meant she heard things. Like now. Victor and 2 other security guards stood near the hotel entrance, smoking, speaking Russian. Most people would hear foreign words and tune out. Layla heard her mother's language. Ready at 6. Exactly. Victor was saying. When he opens the door, it will. He made an explosive gesture with his hands. The other guards laughed. Layla's blood went cold. She looked at the sleek black car parked at the curb. The car Min Jun Kang entered every single day at exactly 6 p.m. The car these men were talking about. Her hands started shaking. They were going to hurt someone, maybe end someone, and she was the only person who understood what they had just said. A 9-year-old girl. The only one who knew about an assassination plot. Drop a heart if you are already stressed. Layla speaks Russian because of her late mother, and just overheard the guards planning to end her boss when he opens the door. She is a child selling flowers to survive, and now she has 17 minutes to warn a man who does not even see her. Hit that like button and subscribe to Mafia Love HQ, because Min Jun has no idea his own security team is plotting against him, and this invisible little girl is his only hope. Time is running out. 5:35 p.m. 15 minutes before. Layla's mind raced. She had to warn someone, but who? The guards were the bad guys. The hotel staff would not believe a street kid. And Min Jun Kang himself, she had seen him exactly twice. Both times he had walked right past her. But she remembered something her grandmother always said: when you see wrong happening, staying silent makes you part of it. Layla looked at her remaining flowers, looked at the hotel entrance, looked at the black car. She had 15 minutes. Victor and the guards had moved inside, still talking. Layla edged closer to the entrance, pretending to arrange her flowers. Timed perfectly, one guard was saying in Russian, "The device is under the driver's seat. Remote detonation. When he is inside, we activate it from across the street." "And if he survives?" another asked. "We have the backup plan." Victor patted something under his jacket. Layla's stomach turned. These were not just bad people. They were professionals, organized, ready for anything. And she was 9 years old with a basket of flowers. She needed help. Chen, the driver, was standing by the car. He looked normal, kind even. Not like the Russian guards. Layla approached carefully. "Excuse me, sir." Chen glanced down, surprised anyone was talking to him. "Yes? Do you speak Russian?" "No." "Why?" "The guards, they were just." She stopped. How could she explain without sounding crazy? "They were what?" Chen's tone was patient but dismissive. He probably thought she was begging. "They were talking about something bad. About the car." "Look, kid. I do not have time for games." Chen turned back to the vehicle, checking something on his phone. "I am not playing. They said something about when he opens the door. Look, I am working. If you want to sell flowers, try the tourists." He was not mean. Just done with the conversation. Layla stepped back, heart sinking. Nobody would listen. She checked the time on the hotel clock. 5:41 p.m. 19 minutes until Minjun Khan walked out that door. 19 minutes until he climbed into a car that would take everything from him. And she was the only person who knew. Her hands were shaking so hard she almost dropped her flower basket. What could one invisible little girl possibly do against trained guards with weapons and a plan? But then she remembered her mother. Her brave, beautiful mother who had fled Russia for a better life, who had taught Layla to be strong. "You are small, my little one, but you are fierce. Never forget that." Layla took a deep breath. Okay. If the adults would not listen, she would have to make them listen. 5:47 p.m. 13 minutes before. Layla positioned herself near the hotel entrance. She had never been inside. Security always turned street vendors away. But today she had to try. She walked through the revolving door like she belonged there. Immediately, a security guard, not one of the Russian conspirators, just regular hotel security, stepped in front of her. "No soliciting. I need to talk to Mr. Kong. It is important." The guard actually laughed. "Mr. Kong does not take meetings with." He gestured at her flower basket, her worn shoes. "Anyone who walks in off the street. But it is about his safety. Out. Now. Before I call the authorities." Layla's eyes stung, but she would not cry. "Please. Someone is going to hurt him." "I heard." I said out. A hand gripped her shoulder, not gently. The guard was escorting her back toward the doors. "Wait. The guards, the Russian ones. They are planning something." But she was already being pushed outside. The door closed behind her. 5:49 p.m. 11 minutes. Layla wanted to scream, wanted to cry, wanted to run home and hide and pretend she had never heard anything, but she could not. She looked up at the building. Min Junkan was up there somewhere, completely unaware that in 11 minutes he would walk to a car that would take everything from him. Think, Layla. Think. The guards were watching the street. Victor was probably inside waiting. Chen would not listen. Hotel security had thrown her out. She could not get to Minjun Khan before he left the building, but she could get to him when he walked out. She would have to be loud. Impossible to ignore. Brave enough to look crazy if that is what it took. And if the Russian guards realized she understood them, if they decided she was a threat. Layla pushed that thought away. 5:52 p.m. She positioned herself right by the door, where he would have to walk past her, where she would have exactly one chance to make him listen. Her whole body was shaking, but she was her mother's daughter, and she would not let someone get hurt without trying everything she could to stop it. 5:56 p.m. 4 minutes before, the hotel doors opened. Min Jun Kang stepped out. Tall, expensive suit, cold expression, phone to his ear, already talking to someone about numbers and deals and things Layla did not understand. Chen straightened, opening the car's back door. The black car, with the device underneath. Mr. Kang. Layla's voice came out too high, too desperate. He did not even glance at her. Kept walking. Mr. Kang, please do not get in that car. He brushed past her like she was furniture. 3 steps from the car. They are going to hurt you. Layla grabbed his sleeve. Min Jun stopped. Looked down at the small hand on his expensive jacket. His expression was ice. Let go. Please. You have to listen. Security. He did not raise his voice. Did not have to. A guard started toward them. Please. The guards, the Russian ones. They are planning something. They said when he opens the door, and they made an explosion sound, and they are watching right now, and there is something under the seat, and, Chen, handle this. Min Jun pulled his arm free, already moving toward the car. 2 steps away. Layla did the only thing she could think of. She spoke Russian. The exact words she had heard. When he opens the door. Boom. Min Jun froze. Turned slowly. What did you just say? Device under the driver's seat. Remote detonation. Layla's Russian was perfect. Her mother's gift. Backup plan if he survives. Min Jun's face had gone completely still. He looked at her. Really looked at her. For the first time. Where did you hear that? Your guards. Victor and the 2 others. They were speaking Russian by the entrance. They think nobody understands. But my mom was Russian and she taught me. And I heard them, and they are planning to. Min Jun held up a hand. He looked at the car, at Victor who was standing across the street watching, at the other Russian guards positioned nearby. Chen had gone pale. Sir, do not touch the car. Min Jun's voice was deadly calm. Step away from it. Now. Chen moved back immediately. Victor started walking toward them. Casual. But his hand was moving toward his jacket. Min Jun pulled Layla behind him. Protective. Instinctive. Chen. Code red. Lock down the building. Nobody moves. And then, quietly, to Layla. How much time did they say? 6. When you always get in. Min Jun checked his watch. 5:58 p.m. 2 minutes. Subscribe to Mafia Love HQ because this little girl just changed everything with 2 words in Russian, and there are only 2 minutes left on the clock. 5:58 p.m. 2 minutes. Everything happened very fast. Chen made a call. Within seconds, loyal security poured from the building. Not the Russian guards. Min Jun's actual trusted team. Victor saw it happening. His hand went fully into his jacket. Do not. Min Jun's voice cut across the distance. You move, you confirm everything. You run, same thing. Your only option is to stand there and let me prove this child wrong. Victor's face was stone, but he did not move. The other Russian guards were being quietly surrounded. Sir, we should evacuate. Chen started. In a minute. First I want to see if she is right. Min Jun looked down at Layla. You are absolutely certain about what you heard? Layla nodded. Terrified. But sure. Chen, call the police. Bomb squad. Tell them we have a possible device in my vehicle. He kept his eyes on Victor. If there is nothing there, this will be very embarrassing for me, and very, very bad for one little girl who wasted my time. Victor's expression flickered. Just slightly. Min Jun saw it. But if there is something. His voice went colder. Then we have a very different problem. 5:59 p.m. The street was being cleared. Police sirens in the distance. Victor made his choice. Turned. Ran. Got 6 steps before Minjun's security tackled him. The other guards tried to scatter. None of them made it. The bomb squad arrived. Everyone was evacuated 3 blocks back. And Layla found herself sitting on a curb with a blanket around her shoulders while adults with equipment swarmed the car. Minjun sat beside her. First time he had ever been at eye level with someone like her. What is your name? Layla. Layla Brooks. How old are you, Layla? 9. He was quiet for a moment. You speak Russian. My mom taught me. Before the accident. I am sorry. And he sounded like he meant it. You saved my life today. I heard them and I could not let someone get hurt. Across the street, the bomb squad leader was walking toward them. Sir, we found the device. Remote detonation would have. He glanced at Layla. Been very bad. It is being safely removed now. Minjun looked at the small girl who had grabbed his sleeve. The invisible child who had seen what no one else had. Who had been brave when every adult had failed. Thank you, he said quietly. You are the bravest person I have ever met. Layla started crying. Not from fear. From relief. Because he had listened. Finally listened. And because someone was safe. She saved him with 2 minutes to spare. Drop a heart if that was intense. 9-year-old Layla spoke Russian to prove she heard the plot, and Minjun finally listened. Victor ran and got tackled. The bomb was real. A child saved a mafia boss because she was brave enough to keep trying when every adult dismissed her. Smash that like button and subscribe to Mafia Love HQ, because Minjun just realized an invisible street kid saw what his entire security team missed. And his whole world is about to change. 2 hours later, Layla sat in the most expensive room she had ever seen. Minjun's office, 20th floor, floor-to-ceiling windows showing the whole city. Her grandmother sat beside her, looking terrified and proud simultaneously. Baby, you should have come home, Mrs. Brooks said for the 3rd time. You should have stayed safe. I could not, Grandma. Someone would have gotten hurt. Minjun entered with Chen. Both men looked exhausted. Victor confessed everything. Minjun said, sitting across from them. My competitors paid him $500,000 to end me. He recruited 3 other guards. The plan was elegant, simple. Would have worked. He looked at Layla. If not for you. I just heard them talking. You heard them. Understood them. And instead of running home where you would be safe, you risked your life to warn a stranger who had walked past you every single day without seeing you. His voice was quiet. I have been thinking about that. Mrs. Brooks squeezed Layla's hand. I have spent 10 years building an empire, Minjun continued. Surrounded myself with security. Trust no one. See everyone as a potential threat or a tool. He paused. And a 9-year-old girl selling flowers was the only person who tried to save my life. Sir, you do not owe us. Mrs. Brooks started. I owe you everything. Minjun's tone was firm. Your granddaughter saved my life. That creates a debt I can never fully repay. But I can try. He pulled out a folder and slid it across the desk. This is the deed to an apartment. 3 bedrooms, paid in full, in a safe neighborhood with good schools. Mrs. Brooks' hand shook as she opened the folder. Sir, we cannot. You can. You will. Minjun looked at Layla. And this young lady is getting a full scholarship. Private school, through university. Whatever she wants to study. That is too much. It is not enough. Minjun's voice cracked slightly. I walked past your granddaughter every day. Saw a street kid. Saw someone beneath my notice. Someone invisible. He met Mrs. Brooks' eyes. She saw a person about to be hurt and risked everything to help. That is not just courage. That is the kind of character I spent years believing did not exist. Mrs. Brooks was crying. There is one more thing. Minjun stood and walked to the window. I would like permission to set up a trust fund for Layla's future. For college. For whatever dream she has. Mr. Kong. I am not asking because I owe you. I am asking because. He turned. Because I want to be part of making sure someone that good, that brave, that pure, gets every chance to become who she is meant to be. Why? Mrs. Brooks whispered. Because she reminded me that people matter. That I have been wrong about almost everything that counts. 1 week later, Minjun stood in his office, staring at the pile of reports on his desk. Reorganizing security. Background checks on every employee. Trust destroyed, being slowly rebuilt. But that was not what kept him awake at night. It was the realization of how close he had come, not just to the end, but to dying as the person he had become. Cold, dismissive, arrogant. Someone who walked past a child every day and never saw her. Someone who had built walls so high that a 9-year-old had to scream to get through them. Chen knocked. "Sir, there is someone here to see you." Layla appeared in the doorway, backpack on, looking nervous. "I am sorry to bother you," she said quickly. "I just wanted to say thank you. For the apartment and the school and everything. Grandma says I should write a thank you note, but I wanted to say it in person." Minjun felt something crack in his chest. "You are not bothering me. You are never bothering me." He gestured to a chair. "Sit, please." She perched on the edge of the seat. "How is the new apartment?" he asked. "Amazing. I have my own room with a window. There is a park nearby. And Grandma has not cried this much in 2 years. Happy tears. The happiest." Layla smiled. Then her expression turned serious. "Mr. Khan, can I ask you something? Anything. Why did you help us so much? Most people would just say thank you and forget about me." Minjun was quiet for a long moment. "Because you saved more than my life," he said finally. "You saved who I am. Who I could still be. I do not understand. I spent years thinking that caring about people was weakness. That trust was foolish. That the only things that mattered were money and power." He looked at her. "And then a little girl I had never noticed risked everything to save me. Not because I deserved it. Not because she would get something out of it. But because it was the right thing to do." Layla's eyes were wide. "You reminded me what matters," Minjun said. "And I am trying to be someone who deserves that reminder." "You are a good person," Layla said simply. "I am trying to be. Because of you." She stood up, walked around the desk, and hugged him. Minjun froze. He could not remember the last time someone had hugged him. Slowly, carefully, he hugged her back. And for the first time in 10 years, he let himself feel something other than cold calculation. He felt gratitude, humility, hope. 6 months later, the community center opening was small, modest compared to Minjun's usual projects. But it mattered more than any hotel or casino he had ever built. The Layla Brooks Community Center, the sign read. Supporting children and families. Free after-school programs, tutoring, meals, language classes. Everything Layla and her grandmother had needed but could not afford. Layla cut the ribbon, grinning, while photographers snapped pictures. Mrs. Brooks stood beside Minjun, dabbing her eyes. "You did not have to do this," she said. "Yes, I did." Minjun watched Layla talking to other kids from the neighborhood. "She saved one life. This center will help hundreds. It is still not even. She would say it is. She is 9. She does not understand how rare she is." He paused. "How rare people like you both are." After the ceremony, Minjun found Layla showing other kids the reading room. "What do you think?" he asked. "It is perfect. Kids who do not have much can come here and learn and eat and be safe." She looked up at him. "You made something good. We made something good. It is your name on the building, but it is your heart in it. Layla smiled. Grandma says you are different now. Nicer. Is that true? Minjun considered it. I am trying to be. It is harder than I thought. Being kind, seeing people, caring. But you are doing it. Because you showed me how. He knelt down to her level. Do you know what you want to be when you grow up? I want to help people. Like you are helping people now. Like I helped you. You will be amazing at it. Minjun stood. Whatever you choose, you will have every resource you need. Education, support, opportunities. I know. Thank you. She hugged him. It was easier now. Natural. Thank you, he said quietly. For saving my life. And for changing it. You changed your own life. I just gave you a reason to. Maybe that was true. Or maybe a 9-year-old girl selling flowers had seen something in him worth saving. Either way, he was grateful. 1 year later, Minjun sat in his office. The same office where Victor had once planned his ending. But everything was different now. The security team was new, vetted, trustworthy. The business was restructured, more legitimate, less ruthless. And on his desk, next to the financial reports, sat a framed photo. Layla, age 9, holding flowers, smiling at the camera. The day she had saved his life. Chen knocked. Sir, the elementary school called. Layla's teacher wants to schedule a meeting about her performance. Minjun looked up sharply. Is something wrong? No, sir. She is doing exceptionally well. They want to discuss advanced placement. Minjun relaxed. Schedule it. I will be there. You do not have to attend every school meeting. I want to. He meant it. She is brilliant. She deserves people showing up for her. After Chen left, Minjun looked at the photo again. A year ago, he had been minutes from ending. Surrounded by people he had paid to protect him. Isolated by his own arrogance. And a child he had never noticed had been the only one who tried to save him. Not because she wanted something. Not because she expected anything. Because it was right. That truth had shattered every belief he had built his life on. Trust was not weakness. Caring was not foolish. People were not just tools or threats. Some people, rare and precious people, were capable of extraordinary courage and selfless love. And he had almost missed that. Almost gone through life completely blind to it. His phone buzzed. A text from Mrs. Brooks with a photo. Layla at her new school. First in her class. Beaming. Minjun smiled. He had spent a decade building an empire. But the best thing he had ever built was this. A bond with a little girl who had saved his life and taught him how to truly live it. Not with walls. Not with arrogance. Not with fear. But with gratitude, humility, and purpose. Victor was in prison. The corrupt guards were gone. The empire was secure. But none of that mattered as much as knowing that somewhere in the city, a brilliant 9-year-old girl was thriving. Because he had listened. Finally listened to the smallest, most invisible voice. The one that mattered most. From invisible flower seller to namesake of a community center. Drop a heart if this story touched your soul. Layla went from being dismissed by everyone to saving a mafia boss's life and changing his entire worldview. Minjun went from cold and arrogant to attending her school meetings and building a center in her name. A 9-year-old who spoke Russian because of her late mother saved a man who had walked past her for months. What was your favorite moment? Her grabbing his sleeve? Speaking Russian to prove she understood? The hug in his office? The community center? Comment below. Have you ever been invisible and had to be loud to be heard? Have you ever witnessed a child's courage? Share your story in the comments. If this inspired you, smash the like button and subscribe to Mafia Love HQ for stories about courage, transformation, and people who prove that wisdom transcends age and status. Sometimes the smallest voice carries the biggest truth.